He is a possible 2012 contender and is the author of the brand new book, which seeks to bring clarity to a concept that is much lost in terms of the meaning in the Obama administration. The book is Liberty Defined, 50 Essential Issues That Affect Our Freedom. The author, Texas Congressman Ron Paul, is with us in studio. How are you? It's so good to see you.
Very well, thank you.
I'm going to show video of your supporters throwing snowballs at me in 2008. I had nothing to do with it.
And we believe in nonviolence.
Well, apparally not.
Did you get hurt?
No, we'll talk about it. We'll get to that. Good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Good.
First of all, I like your book. I've gone through it. You talk about a lot of topics in this book. I think would you say you're more libertarian than conservative, or is that a fair statement? Because that's how I interpret you.
Words are very tricky because sometimes libertarian means one thing to a person, and libertarian means. If you're a good libertarian conservative, you're a constitutionalist, and I believe all the writers in the Constitution were very libertarian in the conventional sense. They want less government in all areas. They don't want government involved in our economic life or in our personal lives, our religious lives or whatever. But it's also, it was advised by the founders to have a certain foreign policy that we ascribe to.
This is probably an area you and I disagree on, but we'll get to that in a minute. You have an announcement tomorrow in Iowa.
I do. Were you interested in what it was?
Yes, I'm very interested.
We're going to announce that I'm going to start an exploratory committee.
Tomorrow?
Yes, and I'll stop by in Iowa on my way home. And that might lead to the next decision. It depends on what kind of reception I get on your show tonight. If I get booed or something, I'll say, well, maybe I shouldn't do it.
Well, the funny thing is, because I wrote a book, Conservative Victory. I didn't write a book about Republican victory. I like to view myself as a conservative. There are certain things happening in Congress right now. I don't think the Republicans are fighting hard enough. For example, the 2011 budget. I think they could have gotten a bigger deal. I would have preferred they shut the government down.
I'm with you on that, but still, it's not easy to vote against the budget when all the Republicans are voting, for a budget. But I agree with you. I think it should close down. It should have closed down a long time ago. But I thought it should have been closed down 15 or 20 years ago and change our ways. But because of this system and the monetary system and the desire for entitlements, it's sort of endless.
$14.3 trillion in a debt that we have. And now we're going to raise it how much? What do you think if the Republicans are going to make a deal, which it appears they want to, because everyone's afraid to say that the full faith and credit of the government is not in play, what should the deal be, if any?
Well, I don't believe in the deals. What if they say, one time in the 80s, there was an agreement that we would, cut so much as we would raise taxes if we cut twice as much in spending. And the Republicans got tricked into that. There was no cuts in spending. So I don't like these deals. What kind of thing can you pass when you pass the debt increase that you can trust? And I can't imagine anything that would talk me into voting for it. I think we should face up to it.
Says a balanced budget amendment would do it for him, if we could get that.
Yeah, and I guess I probably have a little disagreement on that. I would, vote for that, but that wouldn't make me satisfied to raise the debt, because when are you going to get the amendment passed? You have to pass it through the House and the Senate and pass it through those states at 5 or 10 years from now. That's what's wrong with all those budget proposals. It does nothing until, many years out. But the amount of deficit difference, national debt difference in 2016 between Republicans and Democrats, it's $19 trillion for the Republicans and $20 trillion for the Democrats. That's all fiction. It doesn't mean anything.
So you're starting this exploratory committee. Let's say the country was ready for your more libertarian message, as you define libertarian. Right. How do you balance the budget, and in how short a time do you think you can do it? And do you think the country would be ready to say, okay, we're going to give up Social Security and Medicare and all these other things? Because I believe you would support that.
Yeah, we would. I don't think anybody could get that through, because I think we'll have an economic collapse and then we'll have to start over again. That's a bigger story. But if we had our ability to do it, I would address one subject that we agree to disagree on, and that is, I would cut a lot of this spending overseas. We have too much stuff, and why do we support Obama going into Libya and all this stuff? It's just way too much. You could cut a lot.
Do we have a war on terror, though? Is that real in your mind?
Yeah, but you have to understand where the terrorism goes. I know Michael Schur comes on Fox at times. I don't know whether you've had him on there. I read him very seriously. I consider him the most intelligent person and most knowledgeable person about Osama bin Laden. And he has a new book, out of that. So I think looking at that means that our foreign policy does have something to do with our problems and our dangers that we face here. But I don't see that.
Well, when you say that, I think people interpret that we incite the attacks against us. The conclusion of the 9/11 Commission was they were at war with us, but we're not at war with them.
Yeah, but the 9/11 Commission also recognized that there was a blowback phenomenon. The fact that we were over there and had a base in Saudi Arabia was part of it, and Osama bin Laden said that, and we immediately after 9/11 removed the troops from Saudi Arabia. We closed that base down.
But isn't it
the 9/11 report recognized that.
But if they were at war with us for a decade and we're not at war with them, do you not agree that there is a desire among Islamic extremists to have an Islamic caliphate, Sharia law, and conquering the world? Because that's their stated goal.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what they say they want.
But I think there'd be this many, but because we're over there, their numbers grow. That is what you have radicals in all religions, and if there's some way to incite them, their numbers will grow. So their numbers have grown, but they use us to do that, and they say, "Oh, they're over here. We support all these."
I think
dictators.
they hated us already. I think, but we'll continue this. So pick it up there. We're going to have much more with Congressman Ron Paul.